Today we're going to be learning something new together, which is something that I really love about metalsmithing. There is always something new to learn. What are we doing, you might ask? Well, we are going to be making a reversible pendant. So I actually want to have one where you can be wearing it, and then without removing the necklace chain and flipping it around, you actually can just like turn it the other way so that you can see both sides. I have already made the pendant, so we're going to be working on the flipping mechanism. I have no idea if this is going to work. It also does have a stone on one side, so I'm a little worried it could be too top heavy and might just flip on its own, but we're going to try. So let me show you what the pendant looks like right now, and then we're going to get into trying something new. So this is the pendant right now, and the goal is to like attach two things to the side of it and then essentially like put it on a frame so that it can spin like this when it's being worn. And you can see both the sewn side and the word side. I'm gonna start by bending this wire here, and then I'll have to measure the pendant for the other side. So this frame fits pretty well on the widthwise of my pendant, and then I just wanna cut it up to about midway on the pendant, and I'm actually going to attach a jump ring on either side so that I can attach the pendant to the frame. I'm going to solder my jump ring onto the frame. Trying to make sure it's as even as possible. And I'm going to use hard solder paste for this because it's very, very easy to control where it goes for a tiny little joint like this. And then once that's joined, I'm just going to flip it to the other side and do the same thing. Make sure not to touch it this time though, because it is very, very hot. So now I'm going to let that sit in the pickle for a few minutes to get all of the fire stain off and the flux off, and then we will attach some jump rings to the top so that it can fit a necklace chain. And I just did a test fit and it fits really, really well. So now we can move on to adding the jump rings to the top so that a necklace chain can be threaded through. Okay, so I have this kind of rigged up in here. I know it's hard to see, but there's a jump ring in between this top clamp, and then the frame is in between this bottom clamp. I am again going to use solder paste to solder these together just because it's a little bit easier with these like complicated setups. And yeah, I will show you how I do that. So there is the first jump ring, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And just be careful because sometimes the wood of these third hands can get hot. So I just always kind of test it before I get too close after soldering. Just making sure that this one is about equal distance from the end of where the other one is. So here's a little frame. I'm going to put it into the pickle pot, and then I can get started on soldering the wire onto both sides of the actual pendant itself. So So then I have 18 gauge wire here, and this is really important. You can only solder on one side of the wire until I have the frame out here, and I will show you why. It's because it won't fit into the frame if I have both sides soldered on. So it's just easier to do this while it's lying flat, and then I can fiddle around with the other piece once the frame comes out of the pickle pot. Again, I'm going to use solder paste. This is medium solder paste. Okay, so now we have the frame and we have the pendant with the one side of wire soldered onto it. And now I'm actually just going to slide this in like that, and then I'm going to solder the wire onto the other side right here. So that will be a little bit of an operation to get this set up into my third hand, but then we will get that going. Okay, so I'm not even gonna lie, it was a major pain in the ass to get this set up so that the frame is not touching the 18 gauge wire right here, but so that I can solder the frame to the pendant itself. I am again going to use solder paste. This time I'm going to use easy solder paste because I want it to be as easy as possible for me to get this soldered without it flowing over to the frame. All right, here's the frame, and look, it really does turn around in here. So the next step is going to be pinning this in. So I basically need to figure out how long I need this 18 gauge wire to be, and then I'm going to melt it up so that it balls up and it pins in. I think I'll be able to cut off a little bit of the edges and then pin it in like that. Okay, and then to pin it, I literally just run the flame up the wire. Until it's pinned in place, just like that. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, how freaking cool is this? It just can spin, spin, spin. I am going to put this back into the pickle pot so that I can get off the excess flux. And then I can start cleaning it up a little bit and getting ready to set the stone. Okay, so I threw this in the tumbler and polished it up a little bit, and now it's time to set the stone. I put this into Jet Basic, which is from Rio. It's great to help with stone setting, specifically for pieces that are not rings, where you can't like clamp them into your clamp. Pieces where there isn't a great place to clamp it down is great. This helps hold it in. The stone is a Montana agate, which I got from Sal Diggs. She's fantastic, shout out to her. She cuts and sources, ethically sources Montana material. Then I'm going to put this into my hot water again, which helps to soften the Jet Basic so that I can take it off. I am so proud of this piece. Not only is it, I think, my first like moving jewelry piece, but it also makes a cute little statement on the back. If you know, you know. And I think it's really cool that it can be worn with the Montana agate in the front, but the wearer knowing what's on the back. And of course I had to show it being worn, so I do think because it's heavier, just like full transparency, it's gonna default on the stone side, but you of course can still do a little twist-a-roo and show all your friends what's on the other side.
Huh?
Thanks so much for watching today. I had a lot of fun trying something new. Again, my favorite part about metalsmithing is just trying new techniques. If you liked what you saw, it would mean so much to me if you could like and subscribe down below, and I will see you for the next one.